this is just a shortish video on 1 year on of owning the Chinese and fitting the Chinese diesel heater that I've had in my workshop since last Christmas. And I just thought I'd do a review after being using it for a year. Obviously not in the summer so much. Odd cold night I might have had it on for a bit, but not in the summer so much. But now the weather is, you know, so cold. I mean, it's -2 outside at the moment, and luckily I built this as an insulated garage. As if you've seen some of my past videos, you'll see me building it. But when I came in here, it was 5.8 degrees, so it's quite it's not freezing in here, but it's not warm. So I'm going to fire the heater up, which I'm just putting on now, and we'll do a little review on it and tell you what my thoughts are and how reliable is a Chinese diesel heater, and I suppose how dangerous are they. I've had a few comments, but not many. Most people like them. You just get an odd one who, sorry about that, battery went. Yeah, so it's a 12-month review of owning a cheap Chinese diesel heater for a workshop. I'm not going to call it a small workshop, but I'm not going to call it a large one. We're looking at 4 metres by 3 metres. But I've also got the pipework in my garage, which is through there, because I've just recently got another car, a classic car that I'm doing up, and a 2-post car lift, which you'll have seen videos of. So I'm going to be doing a lot of work in there soon. So I need to maybe get some sort of diverter so I can divert the heat from blowing in here to blowing in there, one way or the other. So yeah, let's without further ado have a look at the setup that some of you will have seen, but the ones that have not seen my videos before won't have seen. I'll whip the camera. I've got a vent down there. That picture looks awfully milky. Is that better? Yeah. So first thing you always have in your garage workshop is a fire extinguisher. We've got a CO monitor, which you just saw it flash, and then we've got the controller there. Try and get some focusing. On. I've had it on for a second or two, so it should fire up fairly quickly, I'm hoping, unless it has to go through its deep cycle again. The wiring goes through there, some installation, and a remote key fob that you get with them. Some come with a better one than this, but this is what came with, so you can switch it on and off, up and down on your temperature, so you can take that in the house with you, and half an hour before you're due to come into your garage, you could switch it on and knock the heat off from going into the workshop and blow it into here, because I've got this 2-post car lift now, and I'm going to be doing loads of work on this wonderful old TVR. I have all sorts of projects lined up. In fact, that's my shelf, project shelf, with all the brakes and calipers and all sorts of stuff I've got to do. But anyway, that's so. What it worth doing? I'd say so. Well worth doing. So I've now got me kerosene for £1 a litre, and at the end of this video I'll put a static picture up showing you the name and address of where to get it if you're in Yorkshire area, where to get it from, because that's come on now, but I'm going to knock it back off because I'm not stopping in here, and I came in here just to redo this bit of video footage. So yeah, what it worth doing? Definitely a lot cheaper than running that electric Dimplex heater at 3 kilowatt, a lot cheaper. There's my diesel tank, there's kerosene in there now, but the last 2 days I think I've used from about between those two marks there, I've used that, so 2, maybe 3 litres, probably that holds 10, so I've probably used 3 litres. That come with the kit, did that and some pipe work and a couple of vents, but I bought a load more pipe work and stuff for it. But they're not expensive heaters to buy, and it's been, in the year I've had it, 100% reliable. I haven't had a minute's bother with it. It's been fantastic. Highly recommended, guys. Just a little bit to add on really to end of that, that if anybody fancies doing one of those heaters, they're not hard to install. The most important thing is to get the exhaust to the outside wall. If you're going through brick or concrete, you don't have a problem, but if you're going through anything like wood, you'd need to put a piece of steel tube or something like steel tube through, you know, a piece of steel fall pipe, anything, and then pack it with insulation, which you can get from your local car accessory shop. Exhaust wrap is all I used. So it's not a huge thing to do. The installation, it needs a 12-volt power supply to it. Now some people use a car battery and they usually put a trickle charger on. I bought a power supply which you can get readily available on eBay, between 10 and 20 pound for a 12-volt 10 amp. That's a 20 amp that I've used. I believe when you first fire it up, the heater plug takes about 9 amps at 12 volts, just for probably a minute or something like that till it fires the diesel. After that they only take a few watts to run, so electricity is pretty negligible really, what actually the power that they take. And as I say, they're quite frugal on fuel. I've started using red diesel and I've paid £1.46 a litre, which were last December, and I still have a receipt kicking about somewhere, because I couldn't find kerosene anywhere. But as you'll see at the end, I've put the address so that you can see where you can buy kerosene from. It's just as good. Kerosene is heating oil, which is what they use in houses for heating if you don't have gas. You use LPG or you can use heating oil, and that is heating oil, is kerosene. It's like paraffin with a bit of oil in it. Now some people say that with kerosene you need to put a little bit of oil in to lubricate the pump because the pumps can seize up. So far I haven't had a problem, but I've only been running it for 2 weeks. Now I must admit, the kerosene that I've got seems awfully oily, so I don't think that would be a problem. As long as you've got your pump at an angle like that and not flat or not upright, the self-lubricate, I don't think you'd have a problem, and it's a steel shuttle. So yeah, programming them, you can mess about with them and you can go into the engineer's mode. In the engineer's mode you can tell it the maximum limit of the pulses, the hertz that you want it to run at, so you could drop it down a bit if you wanted, so you could never go over the maximum. Likewise you can set the minimum, but it's a band that moves. I've practiced and played around with it. It's pretty much back at standard factory now, because I found that were ideal, but it's like a band, so if you lower the hertz at the bottom range, then it pulls down the hertz at the top of the range. If you increase the higher range, it pulls up the lower range. It's like a band. I don't think you can do that with it, but it works fine. And as soon as it gets near your set point that you've set your heating at, and by the way, the controller that I showed you, the thermostat, the thermometer is built into that, so if you've got that near a drafty doorway or something cold, it would probably have to get a lot warmer in the room before that would knock off. But it doesn't matter, because you can just go up and down on temperature to whatever, you know, suits. If it's 21 degrees in here and that's saying it's on a 18, well, it doesn't matter. Just you turn it, if you set it to 21, it's going to keep going. And if you're happy at that heat, just turn the thermostat down a little bit, your thermometer, on the temperature control. It's quite a simple thing to do. And like I said, I've never used that remote control, but once you've got the remote, you have to program it in, which isn't hard to do. It tells you in the book how to do it. But yeah, if you wanted to go into your workshop or your garage and it were freezing cold, you could always just stick your head out the window and click the remote, as long as you're not too far away from your garage. They've got a good range. And put the heating on prior to you going in there. As far as health and safety goes, there's just a very small minority who say they're not safe and they're no good because they're made in China and they're not proper CE approved, but it says it is on the box, and whether it is or it isn't, I don't know. But bear this in mind: if you're conscious about buying things that are Chinese, go to Asda, Tesco, anywhere. Go to any supermarket or any electrical shop and buy a fan heater. I guarantee you that fan heater will have been made in China. I don't care whose name's on it, it'll have been made in China. Everything is. So you can't say I wouldn't buy anything that were made outside UK or America or whatever, because it's a load of bull. Everything you've got in your house, your LED light bulbs, your sockets, just about everything you've blooming got, your cooker, your fryer, everything, kettle, everything is made in China. Very, very few items that are not. There's no manufacturing in the UK anymore, is there? I don't know what it's like here over there in America, but here in the UK, there's no manufacturing. It's just a distribution centre is the UK now. Anyway, I've done enough. Thanks a lot. I hope you give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one, which will probably be finishing off this governor that I'm on with, which I did some work on last night. This new idea, it's a new governor. I've scrapped the old idea and I've come up with a new idea for this hit and miss engine. And then once that's on and that bit works, I'm probably going to give that a rest for a while and get on with some of these projects in garage. I've got big brake kits put on front, 4-pot Brembo calipers to do, strip all shock absorbers, take springs off, repaint the springs or renew the shockers altogether. A lot of work to do. See you later, guys.